When did you pitch Simon Dean? How did Simon Dean even come about? I don't think you ever told me this.
I had it in my back pocket forever, an idea. I went on the, so every couple months I would go on the road with WWE, and it was always, hey, you're really good in the ring. We just don't know what to do. Cause they already had Shane started doing the superhero thing after he stopped being in WCW. So I always thought they could have brought in like an evil superhero to fight him. I thought that would have been cool. But I had some different ideas. And one of the times I was on the road, and I told Johnny, pulled me in the office, and Johnny said, hey, and I'm not going to do the Johnny impression, but because everybody else does. But you're going to meet with Vince tomorrow at TV. He wants to talk to you and get an idea how he can make money with you. And there's no money in Mike Bucci. Like, I'm not going to walk out there, and I didn't want to ever do that. So I met with Vince, and he said, hey, you're really good in the ring. Your work is really solid. What's your way to make money? And this is my advice to any young guy who's watching this. If you look at him or any like Tony Khan now or any of the players or any of the bookers, if you look at them and say, hey, I can do whatever you need me to do. I'm ready to go. I'm over prepared. That's not what they want to hear. People looked at Marty Wright like he was insane when they told him he's going to paint his face and eat worms and call himself the boogeyman. That would have got laughed out of most people. That's exactly what he did. He got on, you know what I mean? Like it worked. You have to have an idea. Nobody wants to pay to see their next door neighbor. So I had this idea, and I said, when I sat with Vince, I said, hey, boss, I said, this is kind of my thing. I want to be a cross between like Tony Little and Jack LaLanne, like a BS snake oil salesman selling this fitness system because I knew Vince was a workout guy. I knew Ico Pro, all of that. I'm like, this has potential. And in real life, like a Jersey guy, I talk fast. I'm kind of smarmy a little bit, kind of a smart ass. Like, Simon Dean was not a stretch. Like I literally, anybody who knows me, when they saw that on television, you're like, wait a minute. How is he getting away with this? He literally just put purple on. That's it. There's no change to how he is in real life.
It's true.
Yeah. So I came up with the idea and I said, hey, Vince. And Vince is like, huh. And I said, you got all that Ico Pro laying around. We can sell that. We can call it. And my name, I thought it was Sonny Slade because I was going to have Sonny Slade's super system of self-help and supplements. That was the idea. So all the writers were coming down this one day to OVW, and Vince was like, I kind of like this idea. And when I had a meeting with him, and he said, we can do some vignettes for this. And I said, oh, no. I said, I don't want to do vignettes. I want to do infomercials. And he was like, God damn, that's some good shit, pal. And at this point, I'm like, I'm either going to get fired or I'm going to get called up. I didn't care. Or they were going to make me a trainer in OVW. So all the writers came down. And I had pulled air. When the writers would come down, and this was the only time in the history of OVW that Vince was coming with the writers. It was like a week later. I couldn't believe the timing. And I'm like, I'm going all in on this one. So the only one I smartened up was was Johnny Ace and Aaron Aguilera, who was my friend from UBW, because I needed to have somebody to have the match against. So I told Johnny they had a bunch of tryout matches that day. And I'm the last one to, and I wrestled like Ernest Miller that day and Johnny Jeter, a bunch of guys they can get looks at. Shout out to Ernest. But at the last match of the day, I pulled Aaron Aguilera and Johnny's like, hey, you got your stuff? I said, yeah. He goes, all right. So the last match of the day is done. And Danny's like, well, wait a minute, we got one more. And I'm like, yeah. And they started playing like, I think Olivia Newton-John physical or something. I come out into the ring. I had a jumpsuit on, a whistle, a bag. I took a protein bar and threw it at Vince. Like this whole thing. I didn't care at this point. And I did the whole promo of, achieve and believe, don't delay, call today, all of it. And then I went in the ring and I'm wrestling Aaron Aguilera and I'm stopping to the corner. I'm taking my pulse and I'm kicking them and getting more invigorated and all this. And I could see out of the corner of my eye, Vince is hysterical, laughing and buying all of this. And I'm like, because I had been down there 2 years at this point. And I'm like, holy cow, man, I think this might actually work. And at the end of the day, Johnny Ace pulled me aside because I did the whole routine. And when they left, Johnny stayed behind. He said, hey, you need to start grooming a new locker room leader down here for OVW because you're going to be going on the road. And I was like, there's no way this can be this easy. The next week, I was in Connecticut with Big from Tough Enough. And I sent a list of all the things I need to do for my infomercial. They got it all for me. A bucket of chicken, Big Lou, a fitness girl. And I was literally the next week in Stamford directing my own vignettes for like 8 hours. So to the point when they put the phone number up for the infomercial for the vignette, I actually gave them Tommy. They had to have a fake phone number. I gave them Tommy Dreamer's cell phone number that they put on there that they caught like 8 hours before it was going to be on Monday Night Raw. And they put a fake one on instead. That's how much control I had on it.
Wow.
That's how it happened, man. It can happen on a dime. If these people believe they can make money on you, you will get a shot.
How did it work for like? I remember like you poured the bucket of stuff on the one woman's head. You're calling this woman's fat. They just what actresses,
They were actresses to a
actresses.
degree, but to this day, I don't think any of them truly knew what they were getting into. Because like the one girl, when I poured the stuff over her head and whenever, I remember coming to the back and I'm like, I don't think she knew she was getting it on there. And I just remember, I won't say who it was. Somebody said, don't worry about it. We'll just pay them.